infinitely variety of sources here, there, and everywhere. I didn't retire from the Army until 1976, and I kept my top secret clearance up until that moment. After I retired, I went to work for the Federal Emergency Management Agency and worked another 14 years for the U.S. government, where I had a top secret clearance. So I have a total of 41 years of federal service, you might say. But I've learned things over the years that literally still today stun me and shock me. I've learned that the human race is a hybrid race. I've learned that we are not merely alone. We have never been alone. We have had an intimate interrelationship with advanced extraterrestrial intelligence from the beginning of our history. And let me tell you that that intimate interrelationship is still going on. This one race in particular apparently re-engineered us as a species about 200,000 years ago. What we are here today is what we call Homo sapiens sapiens. You're an engineered creature. Your genetics has been manipulated. You're not the same that you were, and you are not the same of what your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will be in the next 100 years. The human race is going through a transition. And it's more than a transition. It's what I learned to be a transcendent transformation into a new race, into a new future. And your descendants will be as different from what you are here today as what you are from old Australopithecus 500,000 years ago. That's not something to be afraid of. Something to look forward to. You're growing, you're developing, you're becoming a new race, you're becoming a new species. Your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and your descendants on in the next century or two have destiny in the stars. Don't you doubt that for a minute. This species, this race, this troublesome bunch of monkeys has a destiny in the stars. And we are a part of this infinite universe filled with intelligent life. And we have been from the beginning, but we're only now beginning to wake up and see it. Only now are we beginning to open our eyes and listen with our ears and look out there and say, all right, where have I been? What am I now? Where am I going? As I said, your destiny is in the stars. Your generations to come, your descendants, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, will go out there and they will claim their rightful place. In a universe filled with intelligent life. Your place out there belongs to you. You have a right to that, and you will claim it. There is so much to talk about. I've got some slides I have to share. Would you gentlemen please put the first picture up on the screen? I'm being assisted by some very wonderful people back behind the scene here. I like to start with a shot like this. Pictures of this nature is sort of inspiring. It gives you a glimpse of the community that you are a part of. A little glimpse of the stars out there, the nebulae. That's where you're from, and that's where you're going home again to. That's where you belong. Next picture, please. I love these. They're so beautiful. I have some of these on my wall at home. But they inspire me. I look at them and I have a sense of recognition that I've been there before. And I know that I'm going back. But something happened in my country over the last few years that I'm very, very troubled by. Just last week, the United States celebrated the 40th anniversary of putting a man on the moon. Then we went through this whole whoop-de-doo of patting ourselves on the back and thinking, gee, wasn't that neat? Armstrong, Aldrin, Collins up there in orbit. On the moon, aren't we great people? Aren't we magnificent? Look what we did. Well, let me tell you a couple of things that they did that you may not have ever heard about before. They took the few pictures they had it all televised, everybody, Walter Cronkite and all of them were looking out. Golly gee, isn't this great? Isn't this neat? You got a couple of guys on the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, my government, NASA, NASA, which many of us in the United States say stands for never a straight answer, proceeded to erase 40 rolls of film of the Apollo program. The flight to the moon, the flight around the moon, the landings on the moon, the walking guys here and there. They erased, for Christ's sake, 40 rolls of film of those events. Now we're talking about several thousand individual frames that were taken that the so-called authorities determined you did not have a right to see. Oh, they were disruptive, socially unacceptable, politically unacceptable. I become furious. I'm a retired command sergeant major. I was never famous for having a lot of patience. The idea when I found out that they had erased 40 rolls of film involving several thousand individual shots about what really happened up there, I became so furious that I could have punched the director of NASA in the nose. I try to be. I'm not a dangerous man. I like to tell people that, like Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady, I have the milk of human kindness by the quart in every vein. So I really am a gentle man. But I have the capability, the potential of being rather dangerous and violent. And these lies and these cover-ups that I've learned about firsthand over the years literally infuriate me. And I hope it infuriates you, because these authorities, these nitwits in high positions of power, who are proceeding to spend all the money that the American people make for their own use, for their own private programs, and then lie through their teeth about what the truth really is. Well, thanks to the idea that there were a few employees in NASA 40 years ago, even today, there are some good people working there, decent people, honest people. I have some film that they preserved that was not destroyed. Gentlemen, put up the next picture for me. This is a NASA photo. This is Apollo 12. Apollo Systems 12, roll number 50, negative number 7348. They were flying over the moon before they landed. They were